So what if I told you there's a super detailed blueprint out there that claims it can solve world hunger, create a whole new global economy, and bring about an era of luxury living for everyone? Well, today we're unpacking a document that proposes exactly that. A pretty radical tech-driven vision for the future. Let's dive in and see what it's all about.
And this is the question right at the heart of the entire plan. I mean, it sounds almost ridiculous, doesn't it? But the document we're digging into is built on the belief that the answer is a definite yes. It's an incredibly bold claim, so let's get into how they think they can actually pull this off.
And right here is where it gets really interesting. This huge global vision doesn't kick off with some UN treaty or a massive government program. Nope. According to this plan, the very first step, the cornerstone of this whole new world, is something you've probably seen 1,000 times. A vending machine.
Okay, so this is the foundation of the entire plan. But what is this machine exactly? And what in the world makes it so special that its creators think it can literally change the world?
It's called the Royal Oasis VM. And yeah, the core idea is a vending machine, but it's completely reimagined as a sort of community hub for the absolute essentials. We're not talking chips and soda here. We're talking about the fundamental building blocks for a healthy life, available right where people actually live.
And here are the specifics. The plan is really particular about the food. It's strictly whole food plant-based, with no added sugar, oil, or salt. Everything is sourced and cooked up locally. But it's also more than just a food dispenser. It's a communication hub and a place to get PPE, all designed for safe, contactless access. You know, when you look at it, it's basically a survival hub in a box.
Okay, so one super high-tech vending machine is a cool idea. But how do you scale that up to a global level? Well, the document outlines a program to do just that, and it has a very intense name, the SEARCH Blueprint.
And that's what it stands for. Strategically Enabled Automated Response to Child Hostages. Wow, that is some incredibly strong language, right? The source frames it this way to really hammer home the urgency, arguing that kids who are suffering from hunger are, in effect, hostages of a broken system. So the program's goal is to deploy these machines all over the world to break that cycle.
You know, every big plan has to start somewhere, so the document lays out a specific pilot program to test the concept and prove it works, and the proposed location for this initial rollout is Israel.
And the scale of this so-called pilot is, well, it's anything but small. The proposal calls for the strategic placement of 10,000 of these machines across the country.
And check out this daily target. To feed the hungry children in that area, each one of those 10,000 machines would need to provide 100 free meals a day. But here's the really clever part of the model. The plan is to actually stock 200 meals in each machine. The extra 100 are sold to the public, and that profit is what's supposed to fund the entire system.
But that pilot program? It's just the beginning. The real ambition, the one laid out in this source material, is to create a massive, worldwide network of these machines, completely transforming food access for every single person on the planet. And this slide, wow, it really puts the staggering scale of that ambition into perspective. To feed a global population of 8 billion people, the plan calculates a need for 80 million of these machines. Just think about that for a second. That's a logistical challenge on a level that's almost hard to wrap your head around.
So the immediate question is, how on earth could you possibly sustain this? A network of 80 million machines needs a revolutionary supply chain, to say the least. And this brings us to the next major part of the plan, creating an entirely new economic engine to power the whole thing.
So the plan proposes this 4-step, totally self-sustaining loop. First, you grow the food using permaculture on all unused land. We're talking parks, rooftops, the sides of roads. Then you produce the meals, specifically offering jobs to homeless people and other challenged populations. Now, this third step is fascinating. You earn a new currency called eco-credits for doing positive things, like reducing waste. And finally, the loop closes by sustaining itself, repurposing all waste to fuel what the document calls a true resource-based economy. The goal is to completely get rid of landfills.
All right, so you've got the machines and you've got the economy. But what runs it all? This is where the plan shifts from the nuts and bolts to something way more philosophical. The document argues that a system this big isn't just about logistics. It needs a fundamental shift in our thinking, guided by a totally new kind of intelligence. At the very core of this whole thing is a concept they call QI, or quantum intelligence.
The document describes it as a system that merges three things: the Internet of Things, so all the connected machines, with powerful AI, and something it calls the collective consciousness. The idea, it seems, is to have a single, benevolent intelligence managing the entire global operation with perfect efficiency and empathy.
Of course, when you hear all-powerful AI managing the world's resources, a huge question pops up. What keeps it from going horribly wrong? Well, the document proposes a single, unbreakable core command for this quantum intelligence: do no harm. This is presented as the ultimate ethical failsafe for the entire system.
So if QI is the technological brain, you could think of this next concept as the system's soul. It's another acronym, the VEGAN, which stands for the Voice of Earth's Algonquin Guardians. This represents the guiding philosophical promise to protect the planet and live in total harmony with nature.
Okay, so with the technology, the economy, and the philosophy all laid out, the document finally pulls back the curtain on its ultimate vision. What kind of world does this system actually promise to create for everyone living inside it?
So what's the end goal of all of this? The document calls it highly efficient luxury living, and this lifestyle is something you access through a membership in ClubQILL, which stands for Today's Ultimate Solutions. The promise here isn't just about survival. It's a guarantee of a high quality of life for every single person.
And this club, wow, it comes with some pretty incredible promises. The source guarantees every member 4 things: delicious and healthy food, a home and a community, a job that covers all your expenses, and get this, a guaranteed low monthly fee even if you choose not to work at all. This new society would also be organized into totally new kinds of communities. The document sketches out 2 concepts: Faceville, which sounds like these hyper-connected, intentional communities, and Foreverland, a place where you're supposedly free to choose any role you want. You could be a farmer one year and an artist the next.
And the document leaves us with this final, really provocative quote. It's both a warning and a challenge, right? It suggests that the technology to build this world is already here. The only real question is whether we have the will to use it. So what do you think? Is this a blueprint for utopia or a warning of a future we should maybe try to avoid? That's for you to decide.